Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. I'm so thrilled you're here because today we're doing something I absolutely love. We're going to literally slow down, zoom way in, and look incredibly closely at something you'd normally just, I don't know, toss into a tip jar or lose in your couch cushions. Seriously, we're taking a deep dive into a single fascinating object, breaking it down piece by piece. My goal today, to show you just how much intentional design, history, and structural beauty can be packed into a space no bigger than a bottle cap.
Now, it's a serious question. Really think about it for a second. How much can a single piece of everyday pocket change actually tell us? We interact with currency all the time, right? Yet we rarely take a moment to really see it. We view it just as a means to an end, completely missing the rich, delightful mysteries and, honestly, masterpieces of miniature design hiding in plain sight. Well, today we're changing that. We're going to treat a coin not just as money, but as an archaeological artifact, like a canvas or a puzzle just waiting to be solved.
And here it is, the magnificent object under our lens today. Just take a second to soak in the overall aesthetic. It's a beautiful bimetallic coin. You can immediately see this stark, gorgeous contrast in the materials, right? We've got this rich, brassy, golden-colored center that just draws your eye inward, and it's entirely surrounded by a sleek, silver-toned outer rim. And this dual metal construction isn't just for show. It naturally creates a frame, literally separating the canvas into distinct zones for us to explore. So, to make sense of all this intricate detail, we'll break down the anatomy of the coin. We're going to look at the outer star ring, the inner text circle, the central iconography, and finally, the hidden anchors. All right, section 1, the outer star ring, circling the edges.
Okay, I want you to focus entirely on that silver-colored outer rim. Notice what's happening out there. We have these very distinct, deeply stamped 5-pointed stars. Actually, if you count them as you go around the circle, go ahead, take a look. You'll find exactly 12 stars acting as sentinels along the edge. They're spaced so evenly, creating this rhythm, a steady visual beat that circles the entire piece.
But you know what's really interesting? It's what's happening between and behind those stars. They aren't just floating out there in empty space. Notice those crisp, geometric straight lines deeply etched into the metal? They cross behind the stars, creating this continuous, fascinating network. It almost looks like a web, or maybe a navigational map with intersecting coordinates. It gives the whole border a dynamic, textured feel that catches the light beautifully, making the edge feel totally connected, rather than just a random collection of isolated shapes. Moving on to section 2, the 3 power words, reading the inner circle. Now, let your eyes follow the curve of the inner brass circle, specifically sweeping across the top half. Do you see it? The geometric stars from the outside have been replaced by bold uppercase text. It's beautifully stamped, conforming perfectly to the round shape of the coin itself. Reading left to right in a continuous arc, it says, LIBERTÉ ÉGALITÉ FRATERNITÉ. Let's break down this incredibly famous trio of words. The first word, curving up from the left, is liberté. This is a massive, absolutely powerful concept stamped right into this tiny piece of metal. It translates to liberty, the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on your way of life, behavior, or political views. It's the foundational pillar of the phrase, sitting right there at the beginning of the arc. Continuing along that arc to the very top, we hit our second word, égalité. This translates directly to equality. It represents the state of being equal, especially in things like status, rights, and opportunities. And look at how it sits at the absolute apex of the coin. It serves as the literal high point connecting the words on either side. It's essentially an assertion that the freedom promised by the first word is applied evenly to everyone. And finally, curving down the right side, we have fraternité. This means brotherhood, or more broadly, friendship and mutual support within a group. So the really crucial takeaway here is how these 3 words don't just sit in isolation. They create a distinct, deeply inspiring cultural narrative: freedom, equality, and brotherhood. It instantly tells us about the foundational values and the origin of the society that minted this coin even before we identify the specific country. Section 3, the central tree motif, growing from the center. Okay, look right smack in the middle. Dominating this brass canvas is a highly stylized, beautiful tree. It's wonderfully detailed. Notice how the thick, strong roots fan out at the bottom, firmly anchoring it to the base of the inner circle. And from the trunk, look at how the branches fan out and stretch upward, practically reaching out to touch the words liberté, égalité, fraternité, that we literally just talked about.
It's a really powerful visual metaphor, isn't it? Values growing from a strong foundation. And this brilliantly illustrates a very deliberate artistic choice by the designer. Think back to the outer ring for a second. We had rigid, uniform, mechanical geometry, right? Stars and straight intersecting lines. But here, in the center, we have the exact opposite. We have the organic, flowing, asymmetrical lines of a living tree. It provides this incredible visual contrast. The cold structure of the border is basically protecting the natural, life-giving symbolism thriving in the center. But wait, look a little closer at the framing around the tree. While the tree itself is organic, it's actually framed by its own subtle geometry. If you look at the lines radiating out behind the trunk and the branches, they form the straight edges of a shape enclosing the tree. Do you see it? It's a subtle hexagon right there in the brass center. It's a brilliant hidden detail that bridges the natural curves of the tree with the sharp geometry of the outer rim. I just love that.
All right, Section 4, letters and numbers. The final details. Let me throw a playful challenge your way. Look at the space right beside the tree trunk. There are two isolated, prominent letters sitting there. What do you think they stand for? Because, when you analyze an object like this, every single mark has a purpose. Nothing is random. Let's draw our attention exactly to where they sit. To the left of the trunk, a bold letter R. To the right of the trunk, a matching bold letter F. They sit so proudly and perfectly balance the composition. If you drew a line right through the center of the tree, the visual weight of the R mirrors the visual weight of the F. It brings perfect symmetry to the lower half of the design. Now, while the coin doesn't explicitly spell out a country's name for us, we can use visual deductive reasoning to solve the puzzle. We look at the evidence. We have the letters R and F, and above them we have a world-famous motto written exclusively in the French language, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité. When we combine those initials with the French text, it becomes incredibly clear that RF stands for République Française, or the French Republic. Just like that, we've used the visual clues to completely understand the coin's cultural context. And for our absolute final detail, let your eyes drop to the very bottom center of the coin, right below the roots of the tree. There's a timestamp, the numbers 2001. This roots the physical object in a specific moment in time. But look right next to the date. Flanking the year 2001 are two tiny, incredibly intricate icons. They're almost too small to decipher without a magnifying glass, but they add a final touch of charm and mystery. They likely serve as mint marks or symbols of the specific individuals who oversaw the coin's creation. Section 5, the final perspective. Bringing it all together. Let's just do a really quick visual recap. We found 12 geometric border stars, 3 core cultural values, a central rooted tree, the RF identifier, and finally, the 2001 timestamp. And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. I really hope this exercise has fundamentally changed how you view the ordinary things around you. The next time you're handed a piece of pocket change, I highly encourage you to stop, take a closer look, and ask yourself, what hidden stories, what microscopic works of art are you holding right there in the palm of your hand? Keep observing, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.